Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 49th ever Highlight Haven interview. My name is Matthew Heiserman, and today we are joined by JMU running back Jackson McCarter. Jackson, it's great to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, and let's get right into it. I just want to start by asking when you first knew that you wanted to work in this, not work in the sports industry, play football to begin with.
So it all started when I was really young. I started playing football when I was 5, and I kind of really just I was always faster when I was a kid, and that kind of really made me fall in love with the sport, and I just kept it going through middle school and high school.
Mhm. Yeah, when you started playing, were you always a running back, or were you more of a utility guy playing all around the field?
I actually started on the offensive line. I was a guard. Yeah, and I was guard and I was corner. I didn't really start playing running back until my freshman year of high school.
And would you say that's sort of giving you more appreciation towards the guard position, obviously blocking for you on every play?
Yeah, 100%. I love my guys up front. I know I can't do it without them. Especially when I was one of them at one point when I was
Yeah.
younger. So definitely.
Mhm. Yeah, now you originally committed to Villanova. However, you also received offers from schools such as Syracuse, Maine, and Yale. Can you break down your original decision to commit to the Wildcats?
Yeah. So Villanova kind of waited on me. They kind of like sat on it, but I knew that what they were doing it for the right reason. I went on a visit there this summer, like July. June, yeah, it was July, and that's what they offered me there, and I committed on the spot. We had a great relationship with all the coaches. I had a good relationship with the players. Just everything seemed right. Everything seemed to click when I was there.
Mhm. Yeah, now obviously your time there didn't last very long. You did end up decommitting. Can you kind of break down what made you decommit? What was going through your mind when that happened?
Yeah, so really, it was nothing Villanova did. It was really just it was honestly all JMU. Started playing my senior year. I was talking to JMU the whole like throughout most of my recruitment process, and they started recruiting me heavily my senior year. And then I was talking to them, and then they pulled the offer, and I was like, "Yeah,
Mhm,
like I'm all in." Because I mean, you can't beat the environment, like the stadium, the crowd at JMU,
mhm.
the coaching staff, Coach Chesney. I mean, he's a great guy. It really swayed me like 100. I was 100% all in when I wanted that offer bad.
Yeah, now would you say that you sort of rushed it a little bit with Villanova? I know you said you committed on the spot when you did that original visit. Do you think you kind of rushed that and didn't think it through as much as you probably should have?
Yeah, I mean, I really committed to Villanova. I wanted to have a guaranteed place to go.
Mhm,
Like I wanted by the summer, I wanted to have like a guaranteed spot solidified for me. And then if something came up like JMU, I
mhm,
knew I was gonna go there.
mhm, mhm.
I just wanted to have like a guaranteed spot.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And if you didn't end up committing to JMU, let's say Villanova was also out of the picture. I know I mentioned some other schools you received offers from. What school would have probably been your runner-up in that situation?
My runner up probably would have been Richmond, honestly.
Mhm, mhm.
I like Richmond a lot, yeah.
Now, a team I mentioned earlier was Syracuse. Syracuse is probably the biggest school that you received an offer from. Is the reason you didn't end up going there kind of due to playing time? What made you not go to Syracuse despite it definitely being the biggest school that you got an offer from?
Really, it was all about my relationship. I'm big on like relationship with coaches, and we really didn't have that good of a relationship. I kind of like we talked a little bit. They invited me down, and then they offered me, and then we kind of really didn't talk after that. So we didn't really have much of a relationship. So it kind of just threw it out the picture for me.
Yeah, now you play high school football in Virginia. Were you familiar with JMU before you even started talking to them? Before you got that offer? Did you know of them as a school?
Yeah, 100%. I drive past there all the time, and it's an hour and a half away. I was 100% aware of the school.
Mhm. Yeah, now in your junior and senior seasons at Patriot High School, you had a combined 2,959 rushing yards to go along with 46 rushing touchdowns. What's one thing that you take pride in when it comes to your play style?
I take pride in number one thing is my speed. I really
Mhm,
like my speed, breakaway speed. That's probably the most important thing. And my vision. I've worked very hard on that. I wasn't. I mean, when I started running back in middle school or my freshman year, I wasn't. I mean, obviously wasn't the best, but started working on my trainer, worked on my vision. That's what really helped me the most.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And, you mentioned how you were obviously an offensive lineman growing up. Has that helped you? Obviously, running backs have to do some blocking as well. Has that helped you with the blocking aspect of being a running back?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, running backs always in pass pro. Got to pick up blitzing linebackers. That definitely helped me out.
Yeah, and obviously, as an incoming freshman, what are you expecting your role to look like with the Dukes in 2025?
Well, I mean, I actually recently I moved in early in January, end of January, so we just started spring practice this week. So I mean, it's going pretty well. I feel pretty good about how my progress is, learning the plays and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, the plays, signals, it's all very new, but it's nothing I can't handle, and it's definitely a process getting like used to the speed of college ball. But I think if I get adjusted good enough, I think I'll be able to help them out.
Mhm. Yeah, now what are you expecting to be the biggest challenge transitioning from high school football to obviously a Division One college team?
Honestly, the biggest challenge for me is the change of pace. Definitely, change of pace, and I mean, honestly, the size of the guys. Like today, I mean, we had practice today, and we just put on pads for the first time, and the speed was just so much different from even high school games. It was like a high school game in practice, and
Mm,
just the guys are so much bigger. O line's moving so much faster. You got to make reads quicker, and everything just got to click like that automatically. So I definitely just got to get used to that.
mm. Yeah, and of course, David Sims Jr. is the current running backs coach for the Dukes. Have you had the chance to work with him or at least talk with Sims since committing to JMU?
Yeah, 100%. We've been working. We're working hard. He's worked with me on the plays, worked with me on any flaws I have, told me about them, helped me work them out, and he's a great coach.
Yeah, now are there any players on JMU's roster that you're really looking forward to playing with or potentially playing against in practice if it's a defensive guy?
So I mean, my running backs, GP,
Mhm. Yeah.
Wayne, Io, Joby. I love working with all of them. They're very helpful. They help me out a lot, especially since I'm a younger guy. And I mean, the defensive guys. I mean, I love going against. I love going against. Let me think. I love going against Gannon. Gannon he's a lot of energy. He's fun to go against. He's a fun guy to play.
Yeah, now you mentioned some of those other running backs, some of JMU's top running backs, George Pettaway, Wayne Knight. How would you describe the connection you've already been able to build with them? How have they helped you since you've arrived on campus?
They've honestly helped me a lot. Any questions I have, they tell me just call them. They help me with plays. Anything I do in practice that I can be critiqued on, they give me a tip. They help me out. They're very helpful, and I feel like we're building a pretty good relationship throughout that.
Yeah, now when I asked you about some things that you pride yourself in, I know you said your vision, your speed. What do you think is the most successful attribute when it comes to being a successful running back?
Honestly, most successful attribute has to be, I mean, the ability to adapt. Honestly, you have to adapt to a miss block. Got to adapt to that. So unblocked man coming off the edge, you got to make a miss. Unblocked. I mean, you got to block him too. Whether you
Mhm.
have the ball or not, you got to block. You got to catch passes. You got to do everything on the field. You're not just running the ball.
Yeah, now what's one thing that you don't think the average fan would know about the running back position?
Average fan would know. Honestly, to reiterate on the point I just said,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
running back, they don't just. It's not just in the name. We don't just run. We run. We catch. We block. We do pretty much everything. And I feel like the average fan wouldn't know that.
Mhm. Yeah, and whether they're extremely big, super strong, have great footwork, really physical, what would you say is the toughest type of defensive line that you have to go up against?
Toughest type of defensive line. I mean, within my high school career. The toughest defensive line I went against was, I mean, I went against some, I went against some six man down, probably 6 man, 5 man, something like that. Just stacking the line. It makes it difficult, but you got to adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've played in some really important games throughout your football career. Is there something specific you do to handle the pressure in these situations? Obviously, you're a senior. Do you really feel that same pressure that you felt maybe as a freshman or as a sophomore?
Yeah, so I mean, as I've gotten older, I definitely learned ways that I can help like cope with any pressure that I feel. Like when I was a freshman, you would catch me shaking before games. I'll be scared, nervous. But I mean, once you get older, I've learned I just gotta stay out of my head, just focus, put some music on, and I just really get in the zone. And I've learned to play better under pressure, and I feel like that really helps me out.
Yeah, and on game days, are there any pregame rituals you have or any kind of music you listen to get yourself in the right mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a specific playlist that I listen to. I mean, it's pretty big. It's like 50 songs on it just to get me pumped up, get me in my head. And I mean, pregame, I got my stretches. Like I used to do track, so I got my track stretches that I do, like my warm ups to get me ready to run and all that. I do some warm ups to get my cutting good, stuff like that. Yeah.
And are there any NFL players that you try and model your game after or take inspiration from?
I really try to model my game after players like Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. I like Saquon, but I like Christian McCaffrey the most because white running backs are rare. Just I mean everywhere, and I feel like Christian McCaffrey is a really good example, and he kind of like kind of advocates for us and puts us on the stage.
Yeah, and throughout your entire football career, has there been one specific game that you would consider to be your best or most memorable performance?
Yeah, 100%. So my junior year, we played our rival. We have like two rivals in our district. We played our rival school called Gainesville, and it was a big game. They were undefeated. We had, I think, two or three losses at the time, coming in as an underdog. Nobody thought we were gonna win, and I ended up rushing for 381 yards on 31 carries and 5 touchdowns. Yeah,
Wow, and is that your high in both yards and touchdowns?
my high in touchdowns is 6.
Wow. Yeah, and coming off a victory in the Boca Raton Bowl, JMU has a lot of pressure this season to replicate that same success. What are some personal goals as well as team goals that you have for this upcoming season with the Dukes?
I mean, I know personally, me, I want to get on the field as much as I possibly can. I want to get reps, reps, reps. I want to play. I want to play a lot. I want to contribute. And I know as a team, we might want to make the playoffs, college football playoffs.
And I do have one final question to ask before we wrap things up. What's one fact about you that you don't think the average fan would know, just so JMU fans can get to know you more at a personal level rather than just a player?
Facts. Let me think. Honestly,
And it can be as random as you want.
as random as I want. Honestly, when I first started playing football, I cried on the way. I did not want to come to practice. Like my parents signed me up, and I was coming to practice, and I was bawling my eyes out. I was bawling my eyes out in practice, and fell in love with the sport. I love the sport.
And at what point did that mentality change where you got a little more excited for practice, a little more excited to just play in general?
Really happened probably from the switch to from youth ball to like throughout middle school and high school. Because youth ball, it's youth ball. Like kids are learning. Kids don't really know what's going on that much. You get to middle school, you're still learning, but you know what's going on. And then high school is when it really clicks. That's when it clicked. I was like, I need to lock in. I love this sport. I want to do it forever.
Mhm. Yeah, I love to hear that. With that being said, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to say to the people watching before we wrap things up?
I mean, can't wait to get to the work or get to work with the Dukes. I'm excited for the season. Excited to get the work in.
Yeah, 100%. Again, big thanks to Jackson McCarter for being the 49th ever Highlight Haven interview guest. And as always, we will see you next time.
Thank you for